everyone, welcome to another episode of Anyone Can Code. This is that series in which we are going to learn coding, and I don't expect you to have any background of coding. This is the ninth episode, and we are already in our level 2 coding stage. So, if you are not aware of what things we prepared or practiced in the level 1, then you can go back to my videos and check them out. I'm sure you're going to find some very interesting information, and it will be easier to get along with the level 2 videos. But if you're already having a coding background and you know what things were discussed in the level 1, then you can just start right away. The simplest ways to learn coding. Now, here I don't expect you to have a coding background, or I am not making any false promises. Things that we're using, the applications or the websites that we're using are absolutely free. I am not asking you to make any payments or any subscription that you need to take. You can just start right away. All you need to do is make a certain kind of account on co.org, which is the platform that I am using. And if you want to know how that account creation is going to take place, then you can just go and check the video from the description box, and just you will be able to understand better what things are being used and how are they being used, right? So co.org is the platform that I am using in this series of videos, right? So yeah, now the thing that we are going to achieve in this video is basically we are going to create a form. When you go for some government website, or you might have filled up some form for your board exams, or some online some transaction, or you're even if you are creating an account on Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp, if you are entering a number for OTP, even that is a kind of form that you're creating, right? So that also takes development, that also takes coding, right? So that things we are going to learn from now on, step by step. I'm not going to flood you with knowledge in just one video. No, that's not going to happen. We are going to proceed step by step. So let's start with what we are going to do. We are going to create a simple form, and I'm just going to have a button that is going to respond to the form. And we are going to learn about a very important term, you can say. The function that is used get an output is the console.log. It is a very important function that is used in the coding world to get an output, right? So this is one thing that we are going to discuss. And yeah, let's get on to how we are going to achieve this thing. Okay, so I need to have a text input. Now, what is a text input? Now, when when you are creating form on your Instagram or your WhatsApp, then you get a space where you need to fill in your numbers, or your phone number, or your email ID. Some space is given to you where you need to put in that particular information. You cannot put any information outside of that, right? You cannot just go on the screen and write anywhere. No, it's not. The page and the screen is different, right? On the screen there is a certain place that is given to you where you need to write, right? And now similar is the case with this one as well. So we are going to provide the user with the space where he can write whatever he needs to write, right? So that is called a text input. It looks similar to this one, right? And we're going to give a button, and then we are going to have our form input as we already discussed. Then we are going to have a clickable button. Then we are going to add console.log, and then we will be linking the console.log to the button, right? So form input is just to understand how you can provide a space to the user to write things down, right? To take some information from the user. First we are going to learn how to take an information from the user, and then we are going to give the user some kind of an output, right? So that is the kind of things that we are going to be implementing in this is just a practice code. We are not actually creating a form, we are just picking some elements of it and understanding how they work, right? We're going to in the progressing videos we are going to discuss this in detail, don't you worry. But in this one I am just going to talk about the terms that are used or the elements that are used in the forms, right? So the thing that we're going to be implementing in this particular video, so just let's head towards the code.org and let's start building our code. So yeah guys, I'm already on my page where I have been creating my project. So this is my first project thing, right? So if you're not understanding what all things are here on this platform or how did I reach on this page from this code.org platform, don't you worry, I have explained everything in my previous videos, so you need to go and check that out. Another thing, if you have not subscribed as yet, so please subscribe to my channel, it really helps me grow. Another thing that I am going to do is that I have already cleaned up the previous version of the code. So if you want to check out the previous versions of your code, you can go into the version history part. So just do that, right? And now I'm going to start building my code. Now as we discussed, we need to have a text input. Now text input, something that is available in the design part, right? So I need to go into the design tab from here, and I'll be checking out where the text input is. Here is the text input, so I will just either drag this on the screen and place it here, or you can do it by another method. You can just go to the code part and just pick this block of code and place it in the sheet, right? Once you do that, and then you can run the code and see the text input is already there, right? Now in order to check if both the things that we are going to do from the design tab and the code tab are similar or not, you can just go and place one text input here and see if it works the similar way or not. Just go back to the code part and see they are both are similar. The only difference is the text that is here, and here we have an empty text input. So that is the only amount of difference that we have. But for now I'm going to remove this part from the design tab. I'm just going to go with the block of code that I have placed from the code tab, right? Now what it actually does is, let's see, it creates a text input and assign it an element ID. The information that it takes in is basically an ID and the text. Now text is anything that you can or you want to write in the text input, before you as a user are inputting something, right? So if I am like here, when I run the code, the text part is written here as such, right? And if I go on to change this information and I just type type here, right? And you can see I have written type here. Now when you see, type here has been given in the text input. Also something that is different is that whatever you write here is not hard coded, so it is not going to stay like that. No, you can edit that out and write whatever you want to write. Hi, how are you? Whatever is supposed to signify as text can be written in this input. There is no limit to what amount of or how much you can write in this, because you have not set any limits in it. You can even set limits in it, but for now there is no set limit to what amount of words or text it's going to take. It's going to take unlimited amount of information, right? So that is the kind of text inputs behavior is, right? Now we're going to head back to adding a clickable button. Now we already have a button, we need to make it clickable. We need it to take in actions and respond accordingly, right? In order to do that, we have been using for a while now the on event function. If you have been following my videos, you already know what an on event function is. I am going to give it the ID of the button that is already on the screen. This is the ID of the text input that is added here, right? So that is it. Next, we need to use the console.log, right? So as we discussed, now next thing is we need to find that function up, right? So as you can see, I'm going to go to the variable part, and we have the console.log here. I'm just going to pick it up and place it inside the on event function. So basically it is going to give me anything that is mentioned here, right, whenever I am going to press the button, right? So that is the action that is going to be performed when I press the button. So it is going to give me an output in a text format. Another thing that is going to come in handy in this particular video is the show debug commands, right? To inspect or supervise what is happening inside the code. So console.log is one of the ways by which the inspection, the supervision happens when you are writing a very big code, right? So it is one way to debug a code. Bug is, bugging a code is basically just adding errors to it, and debugging it is removing the errors. So this is the term that is used in the coding world, right? And console.log is one of the ways to inspect or get an output from the code itself, right? So whatever processing is happening through console.log, we are able to judge what or how the processing is actually happening in the code. So by that, we, you know take a decision if we did the task correctly or not. So that is what console.log actually does. It just gives you an output based on whatever behavior was happening for it, right? So we already have the code ready here. Now I'm going to just run and check if everything is happening as such or not. Now I'm going to run, and I've already checked my type here, people. So my text input is already happened, behaving as expected, as I have not given it any further features. So it is just going to behave simply. You can just add text in it. It is going to take whatever input you're going to give it, right? So that is all the function of a text input is. Now I want my button to give an output into my debug console. So debug console is that part where the console.log gives away the information that it is holding, right? So if, for example, a robot, right, or Siri, or if you have, if you know Alexa, so whenever you are asking them questions, the asking question can be taken as the text input part. So you are putting information in it, right? But it responds you back, right? So it gives you an answer to your questions, right? Similar is the case with the console.log. It gives you an answer to whatever question was asked from it. So here, the question that I am asking, or the action that I am performing, is clicking a button, right? So it is going to give me an answer in response to that click, right? So that answer is going to show into the debug console. It is not going to be available on the screen. To be very sure, it is not going to be available on the screen. You are not going to be able to see it when you will be sharing your code with your friends, right? So let's see how that actually is going to happen. Rather than explaining it vocally, I'm just going to show you the practical part of it. So whenever I am clicking the button, you can see it just activated itself, and it is showing me whatever was mentioned inside the console.log, and it responded as soon as the button was clicked, right? So that is the way of which console.log behaves, right? So this is the simplest explanation for this uh, piece of code, right? So this comes in handy when you are writing big amounts of codes, and inspection needs to be done and supervision needs to be done. So yeah, this is a very important piece of information. I hope you like the video. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, guys. Like and share as well. Please share your views in comment section. I really look forward to your reviews. And yeah, that's all in this video. That's the elements that we will be using in the coming videos. I'm going to make a wonderful content for you. So stick tight, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, guys. That's doesn't even take a minute, right? It's just a click and that's it. So yeah, let's ride on this journey. Bye bye.